Reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours.
Isn't Uganda beautiful? And in studio, I have Bradford Ocheng, Deputy CEO, UTB, and we were supposed to have James Musinguzi, who is sadly not feeling well, but we have a better person to talk to us, who is John Cantu, LC, Managing Director, Let's Go Travel. The theme, unlocking Uganda's tourism potential with the new brand, Explore Uganda. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Elsie.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Idris.
Bradford.
Happy to be here.
Now, for people who might not actually know, what is the mission and mandate of UTB?
Well, thank you, Idris.
Yes.
Thank you, NTV. Thank you, our audience. UTB first is a government institution. It's not a membership-based institution. It's for all of us. Ugandans, foreigners alike, and we've been around, I would say, since '94. It's 20 years plus, and we were created by an Act of Parliament, 1994, and then it was revamped in 2008, and with two major objectives, really, basically to promote and encourage tourism in the country, and also outside, and also to implement a tourism policy.
Yeah.
Now with this, of course, we have specific functions as UTB. We work very closely with the private sector, Ministry of Tourism, and also you as NTV, basically to put in place a marketing strategy, which should be very participative. As UTB also, together with these institutions, we also implement this strategy. We look for investors so that we can create more jobs in the industry. We also do research, or we commission research, really for evidence-based planning and decision making. UTB also does monitor standards. We also enforce standards within the sector. And with that, we do inspection, we do registration, we do licensing, and also we do classification of some of these facilities. So when you are in a hotel, it should really be known that these are some of the facilities we actually register, license, and inspect and classify. So these are some of the things that we do as a board. So we are a government institution, and we are within the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities. So briefly, this is UTB. Been a long way, and we have both the marketing role, which is really to market the country domestically, but also foreign, but also to do regulation. Yes.
Miss John Cantu Elsie, you actually have a very interesting name, Elsie.
Thank you.
You as a partner to the tourism industry and UTB, Let's Go Travel. Tell us about it. What do you do as an organization?
Let's Go Travel. Thank you so much, NTV. I'm privileged to be here. I'm privileged to know that I've been given an opportunity to talk about my company, to talk about what we do, which we're very, very proud of. First of all, to be a tour operator, you have to love it. Really, you have to have passion for the tourism. Because by the time you start making money, because people go in to make money, but by the time you start making money, it takes a long time. And not only that, it's a very delicate industry. Any small thing will affect it. So that's why we handle it, we love it, and we do it. Let's Go Travel has been in the business of tourism for the last... Yes. We started off at Parliament Avenue with 2 staff who are now big girls. One of them both of them have since gone on and opened up, and they look back to know that yes, they were mothered by Let's Go Travel. So we started with 2 ladies, and today before COVID we thought we were branding over about 35 staff, and now because of COVID and everything else we're on 25. However, now we are 25. However, we're still going strong. Our doors are still open. They were open even during COVID because we are a tour and travel company. So with the tour company, Let's Go Travel partnered up with BCD. BCD believes you can offer service regardless.
What's BCD?
BCD is an international organization, and you subscribe to it to give you the marketing, to give you the training, to give you an edge over your competitors.
Yeah, which is very vital.
Yes. So when you think of like when you're going in a tender, you'll say this is what BCD is, and in Africa these are our footsteps. You go to Kenya, you go to Tanzania, you go to South Africa. So that's BCD. So they had already trained us that we have to make sure that we can give service regardless of where we are. So we had all our consultants they can serve you 24 hours. Nevertheless, we now talking about tourism, and we have started off with 2 staff. We now have a fleet of vehicles of our own, and we're happy with what we do. But on a personal level, I also work for the Toro Kingdom. I'm a minister of tourism in the Toro Kingdom. So that really puts me at a different pedestal altogether.
True.
Yes. And like I said, I love what I do, and I can do anything for it.
Brilliant. I'll come to you, Bradford. And the UTB, the new brand identity or campaign, Explore Uganda, was unveiled. What gave birth to this campaign, and why was there the need to make such a rebranding of Uganda?
Well, thank you, Idris. I think what is clear, really, we're in a very competitive world. It's really, whether at home, even at UTB level, NTV level, you see that you're not alone in the game. So you are competing, and the best thing really is for you to identify yourself and bring out those unique peculiarities. What is it that is different from the others? So as a destination, Uganda, we've been into this, promoting the country generically. Sometimes we move together as part of EAC community. We are promoting EAC as one destination. Africa, sometimes like that, sometimes all this. So again, at the end of it all, you need to look inward and say, what is it that distinguishes me from our competitors? So I think this is really the rationale. That is what made us to say yes. Industry players, Uganda needed to distinguish itself from other competitors. What is it that is unique about the country and all that? So that's why we went on really to it's been a search. It's been quite some time really. As we've heard about the gifted by nature as well. At one point that was for the national brand, but this is the national brand for tourism. So we then 2 years ago we then got some experts. And then we went on really, with their local inputs. We had various committees, frameworks, and structures to have this brand done. So really, it's really to get something that's unique, something that really distinguishes us from other competitors, and what to be proud of, what Uganda can have, and run with it and say, this is Destination Uganda. And also, it's one way also to market, so that wherever you go, it's getting an identity. Like you are Idris, you are Idris. True. You're Idris, and you must be you, and you really need to make it clear that you're Idris, you are different from others, and for good reasons, really, for good reasons. So I think that's why we have this unique identity, and the brand, and we think that this is one way where we can rally Ugandans. You can rally our partners locally, abroad, to make sure that we market Destination Uganda, where we have some targets, to bring in. It's basically that, yeah.
Ms. John, as someone who has, I presume, traveled the whole of Uganda,
yes,
what are some of those unique things, places, culture, landscape that Uganda possesses that the world should come and see, or even us ourselves, Ugandans, should go and see?
You know what happens?
Yeah.
Most of the time, the things that you have, you don't realize that you have them. Because these are, to you, you call them everyday things. And yet to somebody else, is an experiential. It's an experience that you can look at and have for a lifetime. When you think of our uniqueness, if you go anywhere, and this goes back really to talk to my fellow tour operators. Because when you go to everywhere, we all had copy and paste. Copy and paste. Pick them from the airport, take them to the national park, do this, sleep, take them back there. Everywhere. All of us, we did it. Okay. So and thanks to UTB, that they came up with this Explorer. What is it that we are unique? That it doesn't matter where you go, it will still be a Ugandan. That's our culture. I'm going to be very, very selfish on this part and talk about Toro. Yes, everybody will laugh. Yes, talk about Toro. Think of Toro being a tourism city.
Yes.
Small area, okay? Crater Lakes, 54, immediately. Our own king, okay? Our culture, our traditions, our food, our people. These are things that you cannot even compete with them because nobody knows them. And if we do not today wake up and explore those things, okay, what else are we doing? Okay,
we're locking ourselves into our houses and sleeping,
exactly,
looking at all the internet. Because
you see, until you actually look back and see where you have been and correct yourself, then you'll see how else you can. Okay, our guests come here and they go back, no experiential. When you think about the coffee, people know that yes, you can come for a cup of coffee, but no, what is the story behind it? The coffee. Yes. What did your ancestors do? What is that umkago? Okay? Or blood brotherhood. What does that mean? Okay? When you think of how we used to sleep, our back clothes, okay? Today it's gone out. Nobody even knows what a back cloth is or what comes from the back cloth. And yet our kingdoms cannot perform their culture without it. Or how it's made. Actually. Or how it's made. Okay? These are things that we need to explore. These are things that we need to open up to. And let these people flow into our country and enjoy it. Let's give it a chance. Let's look into it deeply. What is that competitiveness? Okay? But a unique one. that nobody can tell you, no Rioburo, no Tuzi, and somebody comes and tells you, oh, you're not eating it properly. How do you know? You just see what I'm doing and copy it.
Yeah.
Okay? And can you imagine if somebody goes and sees our culture? I'll bring in a very good example. Our coronations in Torotu in Mpango. Okay? If somebody comes and sees what we do during Mpango, and that is something that happens every year, okay? Why don't we promote a thing like that? That nobody can do it.
Yeah.
So you see where UTB came from? Yes. Somebody comes here, even maybe Uganda or Toro or anywhere else, they come to those, and they'll flock in here, okay? Because nobody else can be able to produce that. Not in East Africa, not in Africa, not in the world.
It's only in Uganda. It's
only
uniquely
here in
for Uganda.
Yes. So these are things that we are exploring at this time. This is the drum that we're drumming at this time. Okay? Where you can walk and nobody can say it's not correct. Okay? Because people can say, oh, you don't have enough lines. Okay, yes. If you go to Kruger Park, you'll see lots and lots of lines. Yes. Okay, fine. If you go to Kenya, Masai Mara, or go to Serengeti, yes. Oh, fine, yeah. But they're all lines. But you come here, each Hampango, nobody. Okay, you have one king. Period. That's it. Yes. So
we need to start celebrating what
we
have.
Thank you. And nobody will touch us. Yes, it will just be unique and it will just be ourselves.
Mr. Cheng, Ms. Joanne has talked about our culture.
Yeah.
What else do we have to offer as a country in terms of tourism?
Many, Idris, many. Really, well, above Toro and many other kingdoms. Really,
you can tell us about where you're coming from.
Yes, I am from Karamoja.
Yes.
Karamoja, of course, as you know, maybe I can start with the tribes and the diversity.
Yes, definitely.
We have 65 tribes in the world. We are the most culturally diverse. Following DR Congo, TZ and Papua New Guinea. That small place of Karamoja alone, there are 12 ethnic tribes. Just that small place. Somebody talks the other side, you don't even understand. And that comes with the food, with the language, with all sorts of things. The River Nile, from Jinja up to the sea, the longest in the world. Unique starts here in Uganda.
And we have the source.
And there are many
other people want to claim the source.
Well, they have to confirm, they have to justify scientifically. People came from wherever. The explorers came and found it's not a Ugandan thing. It's not a Ugandan thing. Sites. The World Heritage Sites, the Renzoris. Many ranges, really. Kilimanjaro has one. For us, we have many ranges in the Renzoris. The tombs talks about culture. These are all UNESCO sites.
But when you talk about Renzori, you remember that is the only unique place. Okay, it's a snow-capped on the equator. You know, really.
You go there and you think you're abroad.
Switzerland.
Exactly. So we have all this, and even if you take the primates, 19 species. And by the way, in Chibale, we are like the primate capital of the world. You know, when you talk of the capital of the world, it means it's the only big thing.
It's a big deal.
It's big deal.
It's unique. You can't get it anywhere. People talk about the big five. We say big 5 plus 2. True. We have the chimps, we have the gorillas.
Yes.
You can't get that in another location. So we have that kind of uniqueness. But even the Ugandans, by the way, I must tell you, they also say we are very entrepreneurial. And consistently, we have been the most entrepreneurial country in the world. Why wouldn't people be proud and see what is it that we do for the last 5 years? There are very many unique things that as a country that we actually offer that is endless. Now, you also get the water still, the Lake Victoria, fresh water, still on the continent, the biggest in the world, the second biggest. Many things that you can do with that. Many things that you can do with that.
So, What should we expect from the Explore Uganda strategy? How are you going to execute this campaign, this brand new identity that we have as a country?
Well, I think this is now you and me, Joanne, friends, in-laws, embassies, really touch points. We need to move together as one cause. It's already with us. I mean, the brand is a brand. For you to have, if you know the most of these big popular brands in the world, there's the consistency.
Yes.
You must drum, and then of course you must show that really it has dividends. It should be divisible. It should feel it in your pocket. So, but you need to start now. At NTV, for example, how would you want to take this brand to the market, whether regionally or domestically? I know you are present in many locations. How can you work together as a partner institution to make sure that brand Uganda, the part of Africa, is actually known both domestically and regionally? The call we are currently making, we're working with the private sector. John talked about materials that are neither here nor there, cut and paste and all that. Let cut and paste the pearl of Africa. It's unique, should be uniform, should send clear and single message that this is a country without this and that. The embassies, our embassies, we have 30 plus embassies and consulates, 90 in all. We work with them, we work with them. You make sure that where the jurisdictions, they should actually, embrace the brand and make sure this brand gets out. Most touch points, whether in our protected areas, whether you go to the cafe, whether you go anywhere, all these should actually be points where, as a country, we need to handle. But of course, it's money. It's a lot of money, that is whatever. So what is it that NTV can put on the table for us to move together? So, but anyway, the pledge really is, as UTB, ready to work with all our partners, and really, if there's any support that we want from us as UTB, we are ready to do. But we also have our request to all the prospective and the current partners to make sure that we embrace this brand and take it to the market. And really, we are targeting domestic market. We are targeting regional markets. Regional markets, when you talk about regional market, we talk of EAC Africa, for that matter, where currently we have almost 70% of our visitors, originating from. And then also the international markets, Europe, Asia, Americas, and all that. So by the time you look at the world, it's some engagement that really is not going to be done just in 12 months or 1 year. It's a long haul. We are ready to move with this. So at least to make it short, we are ready to work with all prospective
partners.
Yes, but really call for support.
Ms. John, as a stakeholder and a contributor to the tourism industry, in 2019, you hit an all-time high.
Yes.
You received 1.6 million visitors. Contributed 1.6 billion US dollars to the GDP.
Yes.
What were you doing right? Because when you look at the history of the contribution of the tourism industry, 2019 was the epitome of everything. But because of the
I felt it. I was there. I lived it.
I know. So what are some of the things you were doing right, and what do you hope to continue doing now that we have unveiled a brand new identity, a brand new campaign?
You see, people fail to appreciate. We fail to appreciate our government. You can't do business if we don't have peace in the country. You can't do business if our visas are not clear. We can't do business unless if we have, so all these things, they combined to make a good weather for any tourist to come into your country. And that's what happened. Yes, we marketed. We had always been marketing, but also consistency. We've really been drumming on these people. We started going to World Travel Market, to ITB, to Vacantables and everything else in Daba. Okay? So you go there, but finally it pays back. The good thing with our industry is that whatever you invest today, you can't enjoy it next month. It's going to be next year. So what you saw us reaping in 2019, that was the sweat of 2018, 2017. So 2019, we enjoyed that, okay? And by the way, even today, because even during the COVID time, most of our people, 85% in most companies, they didn't cancel, they postponed. So those are the ones now that these are the trickles that are starting to come. And still, back to thanks to the government, because they opened up the airport. Yes, because small things like that. Tourism is wonderful, okay, but it's so delicate. Yes, you open the airport, things come in. Last time we were with the president and we talked about to him, the visa, straight away. Okay, they cleared up the visa. So it's all those small things that you do that contributes to the numbers. This time round, it's going to be different because COVID has made us cleverer. Okay. Besides that, what the uniqueness of COVID has taught Ugandans that actually they have a good product in their own country.
Yeah.
So people you see today, people going to, if you go to Fort Portal today, you can't get a place. It's a tourism city and we work so hard and it's a beautiful place and the good weather and the beautiful people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but so is everywhere. Domestic tourism is catching up. And there's nothing as good as good in marketing as a word of mouth. As long as you know it, tomorrow wherever you go, the first thing will come up and say, I went to Kidepo and this is what I saw. Or you have a photograph and you post it. Yes, okay?
You put it out there.
Yes, you put it out there. And people will say, where is this from? Oh, it's Uganda. No way.
It can't be Uganda. That's somewhere else.
Yes, there are Ugandans out there. They just say, no, this cannot be Uganda.
Yeah.
So they're welcome and I show you. Okay? So to me, I would encourage our people, cooperatives, all those corporates. Okay? Whenever somebody does something good, send them to a national park. Okay, let them work with us as tour operators to know what is the biggest, what is the peak now. Okay, but I'm looking at the Explore Uganda really being the epitome, and it's going to push us.
Bradford, Miss Jane talked about security, how the government is providing it, a political environment, weather conditions and all that favor tourism. What are some of the other factors that have to be in place for tourism as a sector to thrive? And also, how important is this new campaign in unlocking the potential of tourism sector in Uganda?
Well, thank you. Again, because tourism has a lot of touch points.
Yeah.
John talk about coffee. I can talk about food. You may talk about transport, accommodation, all these. As UTB, we look at both attractiveness and competitiveness of the destination. If it is attractiveness, what is it that is there that must bring in people? So again, this should be polished. They must be glittering. They must be able really to attract people. So even when you talk of the big 5+2, are they attractive? Yes, they are already. Are they accessible? Yes. Others may say no. You can reach, probably it will take you another 2-3 hours more. These are some of the things that we need to work on as a country. Yeah, so the attraction centers must be very accessible. Accommodation, for example, they must be competitive. They must be safe. They must be secure. They must be hygienic. When I come in as Bradford, I'm very healthy. I must be able to get back when I'm still Bradford and healthy. I think that is the bottom line. I don't want again to go back and start telling stories that I think these are some of the things. Security, you talked about it. Luckily, relative in the region, I think you can compare that we are one of the most secure places really for visitors. Idris, there are many things that definitely must come into this. The investments also come handy within the tourism industry.
Yeah.
You must invest in facilities that really would bring in first employment, but also bring in money for the investor as a country, because that's the only way we can grow the stock of our, accumulate the stock of our investments. So we also look up to this. But also, I think Uganda also, as you, as me, for this also to be very attractive, we must demonstrate that we appreciate the Pearl of Africa.
Yeah.
And also now, that's why the Explorer, the Pearl, comes in very handy. The call to action, please, as Ugandans, before even like Joanna was saying, appreciate something and then say be happy and actually bring it forth.
Yeah.
And luckily, by the way, if you look at even some of the statistics that we generated 2019 before the lockdown, what we call the tourism expenditure motivation survey, you found that for those who are visited, 50% of those were like repeat visitors coming for the second time. The same survey also talks of 80% would actually recommend destination Uganda to their friends, relatives, and all that. So again, that tells you, the kind of attractiveness that we have as a country, the safety, the hygiene, the competitiveness and all that. And also the 70% of them were satisfied with actually the destination Uganda. There are many things that come into play, but I think as UTB, as partners, we cannot rest and really make sure that when you visit, some of the reports that we get from you, the results that we get are those that can help us actually market the country. Yeah.
Ms. John, what Bradford talked about investment, the need of investment. What are some of those key infrastructures or systems that you as an operator for the tourism sector that need to be invested in and probably be improved?
I'll straight away probably appreciate the roads, though some of the roads can be better. Or the ones that they've first done now, they've gone potholed and everything else. More looking now into that Fort Portal Mabende Road. You're going to get tired of Fort Portal, but that's okay. You'll live with it. So that is one. Another thing that I can look up, which just comes straight away to my mind, is that if we can improve our room numbers. Yes. I've already just said, you got Fort Portal now, you find it's full. And really, we've all concentrated in one spot. But we need to spread our wings. Okay, we need to compare ourselves. If you look at Arusha, okay, how many room nights do they have there? Okay, if you look at room nights, but compared it to still got Fort Portal, okay, because it's got the hills, it's got Rwenzori Mountains, it's got the Crater Lakes, it's got this. So you can compare it with Arusha. If you compare that, we said there's a lot to still do. Another thing that I'd like us to really encourage ourselves is that can we, whatever we do, start developing or start to do making up new things that we can do. What is coming up to my mind on that? Because what really I wanted to say is just gone off. But what I really wanted to say is that can we, if you look at those hills and those valleys of Toro, especially Toro Kingdom, that comes into my mind. Karamoja for that matter. You don't have to talk what is closer to you. Okay? So when you think of those, what comes in mind is that, can you imagine if we put their routes, bicycle routes? Okay? So these are things that I think if we start developing, in as much as we want these investors to come, and yes, there's a need to invest, can we think of how we can invest, but then at the same time keep our culture, keep our environment, look at our environment, and so that if we put those three components together, we will be all right.
Bradford.
Improve the roads. Improve the roads, bring in environmental fact. Whatever we're going to do, let's know that yes, our environment is taken care of. But yes, thank you.
Bradford, we talk about still investment. When you look at countries like Rwanda, who are basically paying for adverts on international broadcasters, Premier League football teams, visit Rwanda, etc. What are some of the other avenues that we are going to use to push the campaign Explore Uganda, apart from basically just encouraging domestic tourism for the citizens and telling them go and visit these places? How are we going to execute that love, that interest, create the conversation on Explore Uganda?
Yeah, thank you. I think for me the most important thing that now we have the brand.
Yeah.
Some of these Rwanda got theirs many years ago. Now we have ours. And when you have a product like this one, you have a game plan. Yeah. So we have a rollout strategy for the next 36 months. And we are beginning with the domestic market, and then incrementally we go regional, then definitely then we go out. The beauty with this is as part of the brand development, we have actually been engaging most of our partners, friends, some of the companies or the firms that we hired to actually market this country, what we call MDRs, market destination representatives. We have them in key markets of UK and Ireland, Germany, Switzerland, and Austria as German speaking. We have North America, that's USA and Canada. And we also have in the Middle East, and then China and Japan. So those are, and these are incidentally, these are also big economies, really biggest economies more or less in the world. So we're working with those MDRs to make sure that this brand, when time comes, also gets onto these markets. Now, where we do not have the MDRs, first they work very closely with the embassies anyway. We have our embassies and the consular missions abroad. There are 19 all. That is 2 missions where we have ambassadors or high commissioners. So we've had preparatory meetings and really a game plan. How do we work with them to make sure that first they appreciate the new brand and also to run with the same brand to the market. Now, you're talking of something that is quite expensive. Yeah. It's not a piece of cake. It requires a lot of investment. But of course, the investments come with a commitment. As a country, we are already committed to have this brand get out. Even if you look domestically, really here, I have talked about the touch points, maybe the protected areas. I have talked of maybe even the borders. Why not? Why can't they carry the brand as they ride? Our minibuses and all that. NTV here, we need to have a brand somewhere. Peeping, coming out eventually, sometimes popping up on your screen. We need to, do our walkways, the major highways, as you go to the Rwenzori and where John comes from, the Kingdom. There must be, we are going to work with all these institutionalized places like the Kingdom, the clusters, the districts, for example, the MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. And when we get all this in, and you have the message well captured, endorsed now, like Jonas endorsed, I think it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to look for money. It's a lot easier to explain. A lot easier to be consistent with this brand. I think this is really where we are moving, because at the end of it all, really, we want this brand eventually to be used as really something that will, a call to action where people can say, yes, this is a part of Africa. We need really to go and explore. And at the end of it also, if there's dividend, if there's money, if there's return on investment, I can assure you, we want the numbers. As UTB, we are looking at increasing the number and value of tourism.
Indeed.
So when you have the numbers, when you have the value, and then the other issues now is what we call equity or inclusion. How do we include everyone? The more the merrier. Even you attend TV, definitely you get a dividend. If you get more visitors here, you get, people come. Now, John is about to start coming to market, for example, trying to, pitch the company and all that. But let her grow and all that. So I think we are in this game together. It's not like any favor to UTB. This is destination Uganda. This is the country Uganda. And if you are our friend, if you are the partners you work with, if you are Ugandan farms, the domicile here or abroad, please, this is the time for us to work together and make sure that we make the destination Uganda vibrant, more competitive and attractive. Yeah.
Well, if you have just joined us, we are talking about the new campaign for Uganda, Explore Uganda, and you are part of it. To continue the conversation and be part of the conversation that we are having today, just look out for our social media platforms, that is Facebook, Twitter, and look out for NTV Uganda. Share your opinions and use the hashtag that is right on the screen right there. And remember, visit your own country. If you don't visit it, who is going to? And I'll come to you, Ms. John. As an operator for the tourism sector, what are some of those lessons that you've learned? I know you hinted on them a little bit, yes, but what are some of those significant lessons you've learned from COVID-19? And probably even some of the challenges that you were having before that, probably you sit down and suggest to all stakeholders that this going forward needs to be fixed.
Yes. I'd like to see our new investors come into this country, but big investors. When you think of Sheraton and the Hiltons and one and on one, they helped tomorrow.
Yeah.
And also I'd like to tell my colleagues in the tourism that diversify. Okay, you collect this, but find out something else that you can add on, so that tomorrow somebody will definitely come back. What are the lessons that we've learned? If there's actually nobody who have gone through this and come out empty-handed, it's a different story. Yeah. But personally, yes, I've learned to diversify. I've learned to work together. Yes. The more we are together,
collaboration,
yes, find out what UTB is doing, find out, so that you're all together, because once you're together, then it is easy to go through whatever we went through during COVID. Okay, and if you just can save, because that $10 that you put on the side tomorrow is going to be very, very important to you. Yes. Okay. And market more, because really they've opened up a new door now. We have something new. It's always difficult to change, but the moment you accept the change, there's always better. The new kid on the block always looks better, always looks fresh. So we have come out now with the new kid on the block. Let's embrace it, okay, as our COVID cure, okay, because otherwise we will not go anywhere.
Because so many people have been traumatized during that period, and traveling not only gives you an opportunity to wind down and reflect on how all those hard times that you've been in, but it also helps you to get a different view of the world, of whatever is going on.
Exactly.
So it's quite amazing. And talking about collaboration, I'll come to you, Bradford. When we were unveiling the new campaign on 21st January, I know there were some skeptics, and there were some stakeholders who were totally against it, claiming that they were not involved. What are you doing as UTB to make sure that all stakeholders move together? Because again, as John has put it, collaboration, working together is very, very paramount to see that the campaign actually works.
Thank you. I think this is a very pertinent question, very, very pertinent. And again, as UTB, I think we cannot work alone in this. We need to move together. And to also, we are coming from, again, the COVID pandemic era, which has been very traumatizing. And sometimes people talk from the real bottom of their hearts in terms of what they experience, and being manifested in a national project, which is very, very okay. At the same time, also, you cannot have 100% because people have very divergent views. I must say also, this was quite a very technical project. We're doing it for the first time, and we needed to really get as many views as there were, and we had a framework, really, a structure for all this, which was quite engaging. But I think now moving forward, the brand is with us, really. It was launched at the highest level possible, endorsed at the highest level. I think let's give confidence with this endorsement, and that make sure that, yes, let's embrace the project. As UTB, we are going out to everyone. It could have been maybe lack of adequate information, which we are now ready to move, and then to provide this information and also explain further what kind of benefits you can have from this project, the Part of Africa, the brand and all that. So we are willing to work with the private sector, the public sector, the development partners, the media, everyone, really everyone. So again, Idris, it was unfortunate, but really we are in this together. We are in engagement with the private sector, and I think signs are that things are moving well. We are ready to go. Let's embrace the project, and let's make sure that domestically we are all aligned before we get out.
Before we put out our name to the global world.
Exactly, which I think the signs are very positive.
Brilliant. As we conclude this conversation today, I'll come to you, Ms. John. What are some of the things you want to see, you would like to see? What's the way forward? What's the advice or the call to action you're giving to the citizens of the country?
First of all, I'd like to see that airport finish, because that is our face. Entebbe Airport.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We have two.
That's for the oil. Yes, that's the tourism. Even this one will go to work for the tourism.
Yes.
I'd like to see our airport get finished, because that is our face. Anybody who arrives at the airport.
It's the front door.
It's the front door. So let's go in and really make sure that from the time somebody enters to the time somebody enters into the car and drives off, it's pure, straight, clean. That is one. And we talk about airport, give us an airport in Toro. That's a tourism city as well. So without a tourism city, really, how can we claim?
Should be very proud of you. Very proud.
Toro Kingdom should also have, because it's a tourism city, let's also have an airport there. So that when people, that's why I compared ourselves with Arusha. Go to Arusha, they have the Kilimanjaro, there you go, see the planes arriving, and people can go straight away there, but less infrastructure. That's what I'm coming on, yes. Then after that, our roads gets finished. Then training, mindset change, okay? Our people are stuck. So just allow, if we could do something to mindset change them, so that they can start looking at things at a different level.
Yeah.
Okay, they can start appreciating themselves. Okay, you see somebody has gone to the States within 2 hours, they've changed. They say, no, I'm an American. No, they're not. Somebody comes from Toro, but then in Uganda, where, what, for what? Okay, let's start carrying our identity. Okay, the brand ourselves. Okay, yes, if you're from Karamojong, it's proud, it's from Karamojong. Okay, that's all. I think through that way, then we can be able to sing Uganda. We can be able to praise ourselves. And that way, okay, sometimes, have you ever seen somebody's eating something and you're just standing there waiting and looking, and if somebody just shows you a God, they're enjoying themselves
Yeah.
and everything else is, you know, it's so infectious. Yes. Or if somebody smiles, you know, and you're standing there, you're likely to smile. And if he laughs, you say, why are you laughing? I just remembered my home.
Yeah.
You know, so these are things that's the mindset change. Okay, so to me it is infrastructure, mindset change, and really let this peace that we have continue.
Yes. Bradford,
Yes.
your last word.
Yes. Well, thank you, Idris. I just want to thank NTV for giving us this opportunity. As UTB, we are very happy. I think as a country, should join UTB to be happy. I promise, tourism sector is the only sector in this country that brings happiness. I clearly would call it a happy sector.
Yeah.
You talked it very well that after being locked down for long, you could see the damage that was really inflicted. So it's a very happy sector. Let's embrace it and make sure that it gives us dividends. 2, tourism sector is one that is highly divisible. What I mean by divisibility is it's very equitable, it is very inclusive. She's just talked about Toro. I can talk about Karamoja, what is there in Karamoja. You can talk about Uganda, endless opportunities. You can talk about Busoga. You can talk about wind. You know, unlike oil for now where you see in one area, tourism is everywhere. That's the indivisibility I'm talking about.
Yes.
It is very equitable and it's a sector that really should be embraced, and let's have faith in this sector. The brand now, we are calling to action all Ugandans to explore the Pearl of Africa.
Every place has something special.
Yeah, something
Very
special.
lots.
Smiles are different, the food, the heights, you know, all these, even transport, even transport, by the way, these are all different, and I still call upon Ugandans to explore the Pearl. There's a lot to see, and if you are excited like I am, please try to share whatever there is within where you visited. We promise that this country is livable. There's a lot that can be seen, that can be shared, and in the long run we feel that our pockets, you know, our pocket. I always tell people that you can easily get dollars without actually exporting
anything.
Yes, you get dollars. You understand? That's why we call it. Long ago in high school, we call it invisible export. But right now, I think it is visible export. You get your dollar in your pocket. So I think we are happy, and really I want to thank everyone.
We're also thankful for the job that UTB as a board is doing for the tourism sector, and Ms. John, as a contributor, we are pleased. I have my director there who wants to travel so badly, so probably he'll come and connect with you.
Thank you
so much for the conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you who is watching NTV right now for being part of this very important patriotic discussion that we need to have every single day. And be sure to go and see all these places yourself. Let's Go Travel is available for you to kind of book any destination that you want to go to. Let it be in Uganda, East Africa. You will go and see the amazing, amazing scenes that we have as the Pearl of Africa. Well, good afternoon, and we shall catch you next time when we meet, probably at Rwenzori or the source of the Nile. Goodbye.